At some point in the last year or two, you made some changes. Perhaps you switched to a stainless steel water bottle. Perhaps you stopped using plastic straws. Perhaps you replaced a plastic food container or two. You did what the article suggested. You did what the awareness told you to do. And the 5 foods responsible for the majority of your daily microplastic intake are still on your shopping list. Unchanged. Still in your kitchen cupboard, your refrigerator, your weekly routine, not because you don't care, but because nobody told you which 5 to look at. That is what this video is for. Because the conversation about microplastics has largely focused on packaging, on bottles, on containers, on single-use plastic. And while that conversation is not wrong, it is incomplete in a way that leaves the foods themselves, the specific items you eat and drink every day, entirely unexamined. And in adults over 60 DAOs, where the body's capacity to filter and clear incoming particles is operating at reduced efficiency, the daily food source load is the variable that most directly determines how much the body has to manage. At around the 8-minute mark, I'm going to show you something about the food that most seniors specifically choose for its purity and its health credentials. Something chosen deliberately over the tap, over the filter, over the municipal system, specifically because it was supposed to be cleaner. What the World Health Organization found when it tested it will reframe the single swap that matters most. Stay with me for that. I have spent more than 3 decades in geriatric medicine. The practical question I am most consistently asked by adults over 60 who have understood the microplastic problem and want to do something about it is this: where do I start? There are hundreds of possible changes. Most of them are marginal. And a small number of them, specifically 5, account for a disproportionate share of daily microplastic intake in the population most affected by accumulation. Identify those 5 and replace each one with a specific, evidence-informed alternative, and the incoming daily particle load can be reduced by more than 70% without changing the fundamental character of what you eat. Here is how to think about what those 5 swaps actually do. After 60, your body's capacity to filter and eliminate incoming microplastics through the gut wall, through the liver, through the lymphatic network, is operating at reduced capacity. Think of your daily microplastic exposure as water filling a container that drains slowly. The drainage is still running. But at this stage of life, the outlet is narrower than it was. The water level rises if the inflow exceeds what the drainage can clear. The 5 foods I am about to show you are the 5 largest taps filling that container. You do not need to shut every tap in your life simultaneously. Shut the 5 largest ones, and the water level drops faster than the drainage alone could manage, because you have reduced the inflow at the same time the body is working to increase the outflow. Each swap closes 1 tap, and after 60, each closed tap produces more impact than it would have produced at 45. Here are the 5 Rs in order from the least surprising to the most consequential. And I want you to stay for the 5th, because it is the one that most people have already made a decision about, and made it in entirely the wrong direction. Number 1 is sea salt, and most commercial table salt. Salt is one of the most consistently documented sources of dietary microplastics across global research. A 2018 study examining sea salt from 8 countries found microplastics in every sample tested. Sea salt is produced by evaporating seawater, and the microplastic contamination in the world's oceans means that what is left behind after evaporation includes the particles that were suspended in the water. Most commercial table salt is also refined using water-based processing that carries similar contamination risk. After 60, taste sensitivity naturally decreases. The number of functional taste receptors declines with age, and seniors consistently season food more heavily than younger adults to achieve the same flavor response, which means that salt, as a microplastic vector, delivers a higher daily particle count to an older adult than to a younger one eating the same meal. The swap is specific: Himalayan pink salt, or any inland rock salt mined from ancient geological deposits that predate significant plastic production, roughly pre-1950. These salts are not processed from ocean or surface water. They carry measurably lower microplastic content in independent testing. The taste difference is minimal. The particle reduction is real. Number 2 is canned food, particularly canned goods with acidic contents. The lining of most food-grade metal cans contains an epoxy resin coating that includes BPA, or its structural analogs BPS and BPF. The purpose of this lining is to prevent the metal from reacting with the food contents. The consequence is that the lining itself becomes a source of chemical and microplastic transfer, and that transfer is dramatically accelerated by two factors: acidity and heat. Canned tomatoes, canned tomato-based sauces, canned fish in brine or oil, canned soups, and canned beans. All of these are either acidic, heat-processed during canning, or both. A study measuring BPA migration from can linings into food found that acidic contents produced migration rates 5 to 10 times higher than neutral contents. And the sterilization heat applied during the canning process, typically above 100 degrees Celsius, occurs while the food is in direct contact with the lining. For seniors who rely on canned goods for convenience, protein, and omega-3 intake, canned sardines, canned tuna, and canned salmon are common choices specifically for cardiovascular health. This is a significant daily exposure point. The SWAP, glass-jarred equivalents for tomatoes, sauces, and beans, which are widely available and carry no can lining chemistry. For fish, fresh or frozen fish is always preferable to canned. When canned fish is the only practical option, look for brands that specifically state BPA-free can lining. While the BPS substitution concern applies, it is meaningfully better than unlined cans. Frozen vegetables are almost always a direct and often cheaper substitute for their canned equivalents. Number 3 is shellfish, specifically bivalves, mussels, oysters, clams, and scallops. Shellfish are among the most nutritionally dense foods available to adults over 60. They are rich in zinc, one of the most commonly deficient minerals in the older adult population. They are excellent sources of omega-3 and B12. They are frequently recommended by clinicians for exactly these reasons. They are also filter feeders. Bivalves draw water continuously through their bodies, extracting nutrients and oxygen. In doing so, they concentrate everything else suspended in that water, including microplastics from the marine environment. Because bivalves are typically eaten whole, digestive tract and all, the concentration of microplastics in the gut of the shellfish is consumed directly. A study estimating the annual microplastic intake of regular shellfish consumers found that individuals eating shellfish twice per week may be consuming up to 11,000 microplastic particles per year from this source alone. For adults over 60 whose gut barrier is already more permeable than it was at 40I, and whose liver is sequestering particles with reduced clearance efficiency, this is not a theoretical concern. The swap does not require eliminating seafood. It requires shifting from bivalves, which are eaten whole including the digestive concentration, to wild-caught finfish, where the gut is removed before cooking. The flesh of wild finfish contains substantially lower microplastic concentrations than the whole-body consumption of a filter feeder. Salmon, mackerel, and sardines eaten fresh or frozen deliver the omega-3 and nutrient profile with a significantly reduced particle load. Number 4 is rice. This is the swap that most people do not expect. A study published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology in 2023 examined microplastic contamination in rice specifically. The finding was consistent across multiple rice varieties. A single serving of rice contains measurable microplastic particles, with instant rice and packaged rice products showing the highest contamination, likely from the packaging contact during processing and storage. Unwashed rice showed higher particle counts than rice that was rinsed thoroughly before cooking, with rinsing reducing the detectable surface particle load by a meaningful margin. The swap here does not require eliminating rice, a staple of enormous nutritional and cultural value, particularly in many communities that make up a significant proportion of the over 60 population. The swap is procedural. Rinse rice thoroughly under cold filtered water for 30 seconds before cooking. This single step reduces the surface particle load measurably without changing the rice itself. For those for whom the change is practical, lower contamination carbohydrate alternatives, including pasta and quinoa, which have shown lower contamination in comparative testing, are available as periodic substitutions rather than wholesale replacements. Now, number 5, and the 8-minute mark I told you to stay for. The 5th food and the one most people have already made a specific, deliberate health decision about, is bottled water. In 2018, the World Health Organization commissioned and released a review of microplastic contamination in bottled water. The findings covered testing across multiple countries and multiple brands. 93% of bottled water samples tested positive for microplastic contamination. The average particle count per liter was approximately 325, with some brands and some bottle types showing significantly higher counts. This is bottled water, spring water, mineral water, the water specifically chosen by adults who were concerned about what was in their tap water. The water purchased weekly in single-use or reusable plastic bottles, transported home, stored in the refrigerator or on the counter, and consumed throughout the day in the belief that it was cleaner than the municipal alternative. Tap water also contains microplastics. This is not an argument for unfiltered tap water. But tap water filtered through a standard carbon block filter or through a reverse osmosis system consistently shows microplastic particle counts substantially lower than commercially bottled water. The filter removes the particles from the already lower contamination source. The bottle adds particles from its own plastic structure on top of a potentially higher baseline contamination. The swap is the most impactful single change on this list for most adults over 60 who currently drink bottled water regularly. Install a carbon block or reverse osmosis filter on the kitchen tap. These are widely available at a range of price points and require no specialist installation for most models. Store filtered water in a glass or stainless steel container. The daily particle load reduction from this single swap for a person drinking 2 liters of bottled water daily is substantial, measured in hundreds of particles per day, delivered directly to a gut barrier that after 60 is less equipped to block their passage than it once was. A patient of mine, a retired doctor, early 70s, a man who had spent his career advising patients on health decisions and was now applying the same rigor to his own, presented with inflammatory markers that had been creeping upward over 2 years without a cause his own GP had identified. His diet was careful, his exercise was consistent, his weight was stable. He was genuinely puzzled by the trend. When his daily routine was examined source by source, 5 specific foods accounted for the majority of his estimated daily microplastic intake. Sea salt used generously at every meal, canned fish eaten 3 times per week for omega-3, mussels once weekly as a lifelong tradition, bottled spring water as his sole hydration source, 2 liters per day, and unwashed rice eaten 4 evenings per week. None of these were poor nutritional choices. Every one of them was a documented high contamination source. Over 4 weeks, each of the 5 was replaced with its specific lower contamination alternative. Rock salt replaced sea salt. Glass-jarred fish and fresh salmon replaced the canned and shell varieties. A countertop carbon block filter and a glass pitcher replaced the bottled water. Rinsed rice replaced unwashed. Nothing else in his diet or routine changed. His high-sensitivity CRP at the 3-month review had fallen from 4.1 to 1.8. His IL-6, which had also been elevated, had normalized. His GP, reviewing the panel, asked what medications he had changed or what supplement he had started. He had changed 5 foods, and how they were packaged. Here is what I want you to take from this video into your kitchen and your next appointment. The first. This week, start with the single swap that produces the highest daily impact for most adults over 60 who are currently drinking bottled water. Stop purchasing bottled water and install a carbon block water filter on your kitchen tap. Store filtered water in glass or stainless steel. Bring this question to your pharmacist if you take any daily medications. Is filtered tap water appropriate alongside my current prescriptions? In most cases, the answer is yes, but specific medications have specific water interaction considerations that are worth confirming. The second, check your kitchen cupboards this week for the following: canned tomatoes, canned tomato sauce, canned fish, canned soup, or canned beans. Replace at least one this week with a glass-jarred equivalent or frozen alternative. Note whether a glass-jarred version of the same product is available at your regular shop. Most are, and most are comparably priced. When choosing glass-jarred goods, check that the lid seal is metal rather than plastic where possible. The third, bring this question to your GP at your next appointment using these exact words: I have been making specific food source changes to reduce my daily microplastic intake over the next 3 months. Would you be willing to measure my HSCRP and IL-6 as a baseline now and again at the 3-month mark, so we can track whether the changes produce a measurable reduction in inflammatory markers? That question does 3 things. It creates a measurable before and after. It brings your GP into a conversation about environmental health that most clinical appointments never reach, and it gives both of you data rather than anecdote. Let me bring you back to where this began. The changes you already made, the steel bottle, the reusable bag, the swapped container. They were not wrong. They were the visible things. What I have shown you today are the 5 foods, still in most seniors' kitchens unchanged, that account for a disproportionate share of what the body has to manage daily. 5 taps, 60%, often more of the daily inflow into the container the body is working to drain. You do not need to close all 5 in 1 week. Close the biggest one first. The bottled water, if that applies to you, is the highest volume single tap for most people. Then close the next. And as each one closes, the water level the body's drainage has to manage drops, and the capacity that was spent on the inflow is freed to work on what has already accumulated. Over the next 7 days, do one thing. Go through your kitchen and write down every item you regularly eat or drink that falls into the 5 categories I have described. Salt, canned goods with acidic contents, shellfish, packaged rice, and bottled water. Count how many of the 5 are present in your current routine. Do not change anything yet. Just count. Because next week, I am going to show you the specific temperature threshold above which any plastic, including the food packaging you did not think was a concern, begins releasing particles at the rate the research calls significant. And the single most dangerous daily action for microplastic exposure in the average senior's routine is not a food at all. It is something most people over 60 do every single day, often to the food they consider their healthiest meal. Your count from this week will tell you exactly how many of the 5 taps you are currently running and which one to close first. Come back with your audit. What I show you next week will tell you what to do with it. One important note before you go. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for the advice of your personal physician. Please do not stop or change any medication, and do not make significant dietary changes without first discussing them with your doctor, particularly if you manage a chronic condition or take daily prescription medications. The goal of this video is to give you a clearer, more specific picture of where the most significant dietary microplastic sources are, and the practical steps that the research supports for reducing them. That picture, brought to the right appointment, is where the real progress begins.